What if the people who left, the job that vanished, the opportunity that slipped through your fingers weren't mistakes? What if they were removals? What if everything you lost was never meant to stay? Loss hurts. We grieve the things that disappear, even when they were heavy, even when they were toxic, even when they kept us stuck. We cry over people who walked away, jobs we hated, versions of ourselves we outgrew. Why? Because we confuse loss with failure. We think if it's gone, it means something's wrong. But what if the loss was divine? Maybe God, the universe, or whatever you believe in wasn't punishing you, but protecting you. Maybe that door slammed shut so you'd stop going where you weren't supposed to be. Maybe that person left because your destiny required isolation first. Maybe the thing you were chasing would have crushed you if you caught it. Sometimes what disappears was only sent to guide you to what's next, not to stay, not to define you, just to redirect you. When everything falls apart, the truth shows up. Fake friends fade, shaky habits collapse, unrealistic dreams break under pressure. And you're left with the foundation. Loss shows you what was real. Who's really for you? What truly matters? And most importantly, who you really are when you're not distracted by everything you thought you needed. We fight so hard to hold on to people, titles, habits, and comfort zones. We beg to keep the old when the new is trying to reach us. But what if letting go isn't giving up? What if it's growing up? What if the real breakthrough isn't in fighting for what's fading, but in making room for what's waiting? Maybe that lost relationship made room for healing. Maybe that lost plan made space for purpose. Maybe what you lost was just clearing space for who you're becoming. If you're in the middle of it right now, if the loss is fresh and the pain still raw, just breathe. Don't chase what left. Don't resent what ended. Ask yourself, what is this loss trying to teach me? What am I being prepared for? What can I now become that I couldn't before? You don't need to understand it yet, but you do need to trust that not everything lost was meant to stay. You're not broken. You're being cleared. Your hands feel empty now, but that's only so you can carry something new. The version of you that's coming, stronger, wiser, lighter. You didn't lose everything. You lost what was never truly yours. What couldn't walk with you to the next level? What couldn't survive where you're going? So what if this wasn't the end of your story? What if this was divine subtraction? So something greater could finally arrive. You didn't lose your worth. You didn't lose your future. You lost the version of your life that was holding you back. What you're feeling as loss might actually be release from cycles that drained you, from people who never truly saw you, from paths that led to nowhere. What if that rejection wasn't about your value, but your redirection? Sometimes you're not being punished. You're being pulled out of the wrong room before you settle there forever. Because the truth is, you meet your most powerful self after the storm, after the breakup, after the failure, after the disappointment. That's when you start asking real questions. That's when your identity stops depending on other people. That's when your faith becomes real. And maybe that's when God can finally speak to you. Because now the noise is gone. Now you're listening. Now you're open. What if everything that left was the silence needed to finally hear your calling? So stop grieving the chapter that was never meant to be your whole book. You haven't been abandoned. You've been aligned. You haven't lost everything. You've lost what couldn't come with you. And maybe, just maybe, that's not something to fear. That's something to be grateful for. Because what if everything you lost was never meant to stay? You're not who you were before the loss. You've been refined, shaped by pain, sharpened by silence, strengthened by survival. You don't just move on from loss. You grow through it. You take the lessons. You keep the truth. And you leave the weight behind. What if that grief rewired your priorities? What if that disappointment unlocked the door to your deeper purpose? What if who you are becoming could never have existed without what you let go? You're not the aftermath. You're the afterglow. Nature clears before it grows. Trees shed before they bloom. The ground goes barren before spring comes. Why would your life be any different? So if everything's falling apart, let it. If the old version of you is crumbling, let it. That's not failure. That's transformation. And you don't owe anyone an apology for evolving. The space that loss leaves behind isn't empty. It's sacred. It's where the new thing will take root. The right person, the right opportunity, the real version of you. So maybe the hardest things to let go